Hi guys, it's John here, and this is a review of the Bigme B751C Colour e-ink tablet. So this is an 8-core 2.3 GHz processor, 4 gigs of RAM and 64 gigs of storage. Got Bluetooth 5.0, 2300 mAh battery. Now that will last several days of actual use, or if you have it on standby, you should get a good couple of weeks, I reckon, of standby out of this device. And the dimensions of this are 136 by 155 millimeters at 212 grams and 7mm thick. It retails at about £180, £190 or about $200 or so. So it's a really nice, cheap device to get into the e-ink scene. And yeah, I've been playing around with this now for about a week, and it's a really nice little tablet, an ebook reader for those who like reading things on a nice big screen without the worry of screen glare. So I've put a link down below if you want to pick one of these up, but let's see what we get inside the box and see whether this might be the e-tablet that you've been waiting for. So inside the box you actually get two boxes here. You get one box for the tablet itself. Inside we get a Stylus Pen, which has got a nice weight to it actually. This feels like a proper solid pen here. We also get our manual, SIM eject tool and a USB cable, USB-C to USB-C that is. And in the second box you get a nice little portfolio case for your tablet. So we'll have a look at that a bit later. So let's have a quick look at the tablet itself. So this is how it comes out of the box. It's a really nice design. You get this sort of faux leather effect on the back. And you can see here a very nice big 7-inch screen here for your content and media consumption. You get some physical buttons here on the front. So these can be used for page turning or volume up and down. We'll go through that a bit later as well. On the side here on the left we get our speaker. We get a USB-C charging port, we get our indicator status LED here. On the bottom, we get our microphone, and we get a microSD card slot here, which can take up to 1 terabyte microSD card. On the right-hand side, we don't get anything at all. And on the top, we get our power and a lock button. So yeah, this is the tablet. You can see here it's currently in standby mode. So the screen, although it's got a colour picture on it, it's not actually using any power, pretty much almost zero power at all. So this is the beauty of e-ink. The battery consumption when it's not doing anything is actually really good indeed. So let's press the power button or the standby button here, and we can unlock the device here. And we can see here we are greeted with our home screen with all our apps. There are multiple home screen styles you can set here, so you can have it open up to a note-taking page, for example, if you're mainly going to be taking notes with this thing. But yeah, I've got it set to the normal app screen. So what is an e-ink display? Well, the display technology is basically refreshing the screen here and popping ink into the required locations where it's needed, and then it just stops using battery after that. So this screen refreshes at up to 12 frames per second. Now that doesn't sound like very much, but when you're just reading books and things, you don't really need a very fast refresh rate. And again, that is another thing that helps the battery life be so good. Now I had this on charge at 100% and left it. It's been on or off charge now for over 12 hours now, and we've only lost 2% of the battery. So that's pretty good going. I'd say you probably lose 2 to 3% in a 24-hour period. So let's take a look at the display outside and see how it is. You can see here I am showing it with the backlight completely off here in very bright sunlight, and the display is still extremely readable and visible. It's an anti-glare display, obviously, to stop those glares and reflections. And we can turn on the backlight as well, and you'll see you can barely even notice it's on because it's so bright outside. But yeah, this is how it looks outside. So this is going to be perfect for taking to a park or anywhere outdoors, basically, where you want to sit and read a book. You can do so easily on this device. So what pre-installed software do we get here? We get plenty of note and voice sort of dictation software here. So you can see Microsoft OneNote. We get some cloud apps pre-installed here. You can customize your background picture. You get WPS Office, and I've installed Prime Video here. The Kindle was already installed as well, along with task list, obviously the user guide, translation apps. Get a music player with a few songs included. We get a photo app, mail, we get the Play Store, which is obviously very important for a lot of people, so you can install other apps and games if you really want to. We get a dictionary, we get another dictionary, voice translator and another translator. So it does seem to be a bit of duplication between the apps. On the second page here you can see we also get another Office app, we get their version of ChatGPT, we get a built-in browser, and I've installed a couple of other bits and pieces here just for this video. You also get short links down here to your favorite apps, which you can customize as well. But yeah, it's not a massive amount in there. We can, of course, delete things if we don't want to have them on here. So maybe some of the ChatGPT type stuff, you might want to just go into here and disable it or uninstall it. So what you're mainly going to be using this for, I would say, is probably reading your Kindle books or other PDFs or files that you've downloaded. So let's go into the Kindle now and see how things look. Now you can customize the e-ink display to fit your needs. So I've currently got it set to comic here because we are obviously reading a comic book, and that will affect the quality and the look of the picture. Okay, I'm going to do it in horizontal mode so you might be able to see it better. But we're going to just set this to default, and you can see the slight difference in quality there, changing as we go to the different modes. Basically, you can customize this to however you want. If we go into custom, we can change the contrast and just adjust things very nicely and just set it to exactly how you want it to look. So you can see here as I zoom in and move around the screen refreshing, and you can get some really nice crisp images out of this display. So yeah, it's a really nice display and absolutely perfect for reading books. So as I said, these keys can be used for turning pages. As you can see, we're going left and right with the comic here. So again, reading here, we can see it's a very nice big display to read from. And if we zoom in, we get some really nice crisp text here. As you can see, it's really nice to just have this display where there's no glare on it. And I think you'll agree this is going to be much better than reading from a standard phone screen. Okay, so how well does the display perform in terms of ghosting? So ghosting is a term used where you can see artifacts of something that was there before which has now moved out of the way or changed on the screen. You can see a slight little ghost of the previous image on the screen still. Now overall this is pretty good going. It doesn't really happen too much, but when it does happen you can just do a full screen refresh by just swiping up from the bottom right here. It'll refresh the display and it'll clear it back up. So it can happen. It doesn't happen very often. When it does happen, you can just quickly refresh if it is annoying you in any way. So how about the Stylus Pen that comes with the device? So it's powered by a single AAA battery here, and it's actually really nice to use. If we pop that back in, I will show you what it's like to write on the screen. Now the pen also supports multiple thicknesses. So if we go into a brush and set the width slightly here, we can actually go in and use different thicknesses. So if we go straight down, you can see it's quite thick. And if we turn it to the side, press a bit lighter, you can see the differences we are getting here. So it's actually really quite a nice pen. And I think it actually keeps up with the screen pretty well indeed. And of course, the beauty of a colour e-ink pen is that you do have colours that you can use on the screen. Yes, they're not the brightest colours in the world, but let's just give this a go. We can fill in bits and pieces here, and you get the idea. You can play around with this to your heart's desire. So yeah, it's good fun. The pen, like I say, works really nicely. I was quite actually surprised. I was thinking it's going to be quite laggy, as I've had some tablets in the past which have been a bit laggy. But yeah, this has worked really nicely straight out of the box. So how about web browsing? Let's see how well it functions. We can see here the refresh of the screen. Now you can see that is slightly laggy there. So what we can do if we want to is we can pull down from the top, go to the e-ink center. So we're going to custom, and then we'll set the refresh mode to be extreme. And we should notice it actually scrolls a lot better there. So you can see it's a lot less choppy. It's not going to be perfect. Don't forget this is only 12 frames per second. But that is a lot easier on the eye than the previous default setting that we had set. So let's load an article up and see how it loads and see how it looks. As you can see here, it loads nice and quickly. Now you can increase the font. Again, this is the default browser, so you could just install Chrome if you wanted to, but we can put the font up and make it even easier to read the page. So yeah, it works really nicely for just browsing the web and just reading things off the screen. So let's check out how videos look on this device. Okay, so here we are on YouTube, and let's just go full screen and we can have a look. Now I have got it set to extreme here. So this is the best we can get it to look whilst watching a video. And this is what you shall expect to see when watching a video. So yeah, not terrible, it's still watchable, but obviously the quality of it does look like it was shot back in the 1980s or something, maybe 1990s. So yeah, it's not a brilliant experience for watching videos on YouTube with lots of quick movement, but if you are watching sort of anime style things with slower movement, then it is actually more than watchable on this device. So you can see what I mean by that. If we're watching something like Invincible here, where there's not a huge amount of movement, it is actually more than watchable watching a sort of comic book style video on here. But again, this isn't really for video consumption. This is mainly going to be for reading material more than anything else, and obviously writing with the pen. So we'll just do a quick speaker test here to see how loud the single firing speaker is here on the top left of the screen. You'll see it switches over with some lights flashing, and now A is B, B is A, and vice versa for X and Y. So we're going to go back to the Xbox mode here. And there we are. So yeah, a bit tinny in videos as you saw there, but if the standard text to voice is absolutely fine.
States for special tests. Ralph spent much of his travel time on these trips thanking God for Carolyn's Blue Cross, major medical coverage, of personal research in the Derry Public Library. At first looking for answers the specialists might have overlooked, later on just looking for hope and grasping at straws.
And don't forget, of course, you've got the Bluetooth 5.0 here to connect your earphones or your headphones if you so wish. So the only other thing to mention really is typing on this screen. So when you type, it is responsive, but you can see a delay of the screen refreshing. So that just takes a bit of getting used to really, because we're obviously used to seeing instant feedback when we press a key on our keyboards. But when you press it here, you can see, if I just go into a new line, you can see here, if I press space, it's pretty quick, but it's not instant. It's just something you just get used to after a while, and you're not going to be doing a lot of typing here. You're probably going to be mainly using the pen for writing. Right, let's pop our tablet into the included case and see how it looks and feels. So that's actually really a nice sort of faux leather feel. We also get a little bit on the side here for our pen. Actually, I think that looks really smart, to be honest. It's actually a really nice little case here to keep your tablet protected from the elements, obviously, whilst you're going out and about. So that is the B751C from Bigme, colour e-ink tablet. And yeah, I've been quite impressed with this, like I was with the phone actually, because of the sheer joy it is to read on an e-ink display. You can't really get better than that when you compare that to a glossy phone. So if you do have lots of books you like to read and you want an Android device that you can still, play basic games on, card games and things, watch videos just about, but take notes and obviously do dictation and things, then this is a good one to go for at that cheap price. So if you have any questions or comments about this device, please let me know down below. I'll do my best to answer them. Don't forget I've put an affiliate link if you want to pick one of these up in the description below. That just helps support the channel. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.